Spencer Linton. To my left sits Jarom Jordan, and to Jarom's left is the new BYU basketball assistant coach, Kahil Fennell, making his BYU Sports Nation debut. Welcome to Studio B and BYU Sports Nation.
Thank you. This is unbelievable. I got to match you guys' energy. You guys are fired up about Fridays. We're fired about Boise kickoff times.
We just got 2 days off, Kahil, so we are making up.
Got a lot
Friday
to talk about.
I got to up my game here. All right, here we go.
Well, listen. Football blew up what we thought was going to be the biggest. Kahil Fennell's all right. Let's go. And then we got times. We got But it's fun that in late May we're talking about all this stuff and we can talk some hoops. Let's talk some hoops.
Absolutely, but not before we need to bury a hatchet, okay? Kahil, you were born in Hawaii, raised a Hawaii fan, and you were very much not a BYU fan. Ty Detmer and company back in the day. Have you moved past that emotionally?
I've gotten past it emotionally as a whole. You know what I mean? I just want to be clear. It wasn't just a Ty Detmer thing. It was BYU football in general.
It was Byron Rex.
It was everybody.
It was
everybody
all
involved.
the guys.
I had a VHS tape of BYU playing San Diego State when Marshall Faulk was there. Mm-hmm. Marshall Faulk had like 299 yards.
Oh, I remember the game.
52 tie, the crazy one, or a different game?
I think it's when they ran crazy and beat BYU in Pro Bowl.
It would have been the year before.
I want to say like Walsh from Torrance was your quarterback.
93 probably.
Yeah, 93.
Right?
Correct.
I've watched it like 80 times. It was the best thing that I've ever seen.
You were a San Diego State fan?
You were an anti-BYU fan.
Anti-BYU fan.
Well, the whack in those days was amazing. Like, there was a sequence where Air Force is a top 10 program consistently. BYU, obviously. Hawaii had some tremendous teams. So, yeah, that rivalry was awesome. So
I feel like you glossed over UH. You're like, yeah, Air Force, San Diego State, and then Hawaii.
They needed a few more whack titles there, Kahil, to really be mentioned in the top two.
Fair enough.
But that rivalry was awesome. We got it firsthand in 2019 at the Hawaii Bowl. Like, that's a real thing still in Hawaii.
No question.
And BYU played in Hawaii 2 years ago in the Diamond Head, and the church's presence there is a thing. Like
absolutely, yeah. It runs culturally. Obviously, there's a huge presence with BYU and the university and the culture and all that kind of stuff. So, that's a very real thing for sure.
Okay, so clearly you had an understanding when you took this job of what BYU is, what they represent, and like it or not, depending on where you were in your life, winning traditions. Right now, you join Mark Pope, who obviously wants to be a winner. Why was BYU the right fit for you at this point of your life and your coaching career?
Yeah, I think it came at the perfect time for me personally and for my family. With everything that happened at Louisville, it was a great 4 years, but it was also really, really challenging, especially down the stretch for this past season. And when this opportunity became available, it was something that I had to jump at. Fortunately, they reached out and we really, began a dialogue, and we really see eye to eye, Coach Pope and I. I'm a huge fan of his. I really, really respect him and Nick and Cody, and I think they've done a fantastic job, and it's just a great spot. The university, the culture, the community, it's special. And so we're really excited to be here.
Did you have a connection to Mark before? Or because I know you were on Barrett Perry's staff. Barrett's from Payson nearby and connected to the community, right? And obviously growing up in Hawaii, you've connected in some way on the other side against BYU like we just talked about. But what was it about this job and like Mark and this place that you were like, yes, I want to be there?
Well, I didn't have a direct connection to Coach Pope, no. We have a mutual friend that kind of put us together during this whole hiring process, which was great. But it's really just kind of respecting it from afar. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've honestly been watching BYU since I was a little kid. So I have a really strong familiarity with what the program is and what the culture stands for and the community stands for. So none of it is like this jarring new concept to me, So, and then it's just easy to respect the athletics programs and obviously men's basketball in particular. And then what Coach Pope has done in the past 3 years is fantastic. It's really unprecedented here at the university. So easy program and coach and staff to get behind, man. And it spoke to me early from a cultural community standpoint, and then obviously particular to the basketball program is something that gets us fired up.
Did Big 12 influence you at all, knowing, hey, that's your way and the opportunity to be in the best basketball league in America? And you were in the ACC. That's saying a ton, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was a big part of it. Going to the Big 12, the belief in our ability to compete in the Big 12 right away, the belief in the staff, the belief in the university and the resources and the facilities. I think we can hit the ground running in the Big 12. I think we could be really, really competitive and compete for championships.
So a former production assistant who used to work here, his name's Corey Aldis. He used to work at like a D2 or 3 school, I want to say, and then he moved to Louisville this last year and started doing some content. And he told me he was telling you like, hey, the facilities are really good out there. You may be surprised, right? What did you think when you came here, knowing, hey, here's this school in the West Coast Conference, good tradition, but like, what did anything surprise you on your visit out here?
I mean, it sounds stupid to you guys, but the natural beauty is stunning. Like, it's distracting almost. I was here with my wife during the interview process, and we missed our exit twice just because we're looking at the mountains and the waterfalls. I mean, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. I mean, Louisville's awesome, and Kentucky has some really beautiful parts, but there's nothing like this where you're, like, amongst the mountains. So the natural beauty is unbelievable, and you can just see it from everywhere, right? From my hotel room, from my office, and everything you do. So that's really, really cool. And then, obviously, the facilities here are as good as anywhere in the country. You know, they're as good as Louisville's, they're as good as anywhere in the ACC. They're fantastic. That facility that we work out in and our offices and all that kind of stuff is beautiful, and it's modern and it's cool. And then obviously the arena is fantastic too. So yeah, the facilities are top notch.
New BYU basketball assistant coach Kahil Fennell is with us on BYU Sports Nation. We'll talk about another connection you have to a guy that's coming up on the newly revised roster in just a moment. But I want to ask you if your role has been discussed specifically, because I know all assistants specialize in certain things, but how is your role going to impact this BYU basketball team most prominently?
Yeah, I think you make a good point about assistants in general and different programs, but I think here with Coach Pope, it seems to be kind of like an all-for-one scenario, right? We're all kind of pulling in the same direction. We're all helping in different facets of the program. So obviously recruiting is something that we'll all try to really, prioritize, especially here in this offseason as we try to finalize our roster. And then player development and preparation and scouts and all those kind of things. We all share those things equally. So it's not like I'm the workout guy or I'm the offensive guy. We're all, playing our part and having our role within those facets of the program.
Do you have a love offense over defense? Is there one way you lean, or are you are you right down the middle 50-50?
I don't know if I'm right down the middle. I do like defense. I liked playing defense. I was probably scared to shoot when I was a player, so I prefer defense more. But yeah, I guess I would lean more towards the defensive end for sure.
Okay, this is going to tell us a lot. Which office did they give you?
I think they gave me a little okey-doke. So my door says Cody Fieger. So I think Cody took Chris Burgess's office for whatever reason.
Well. Listen, the moment he leaves, it's fair game between those two, right?
Yeah.
And then
I have no gear, I have no office. Yeah, so it was. I think that.
Hey, are you actually hired here?
Am I really here?
You getting paid? Yeah.
It's all a trial period. But no, I have the middle office. So
you have the middle office.
So I don't know what that means.
That's probably like the new guy, probably.
Probably,
right?
Absolutely.
Because to me, the corner office where you get the edge, your quick access to the barbecue.
Yes.
And you get you all have a window.
You make a great point. That's what Cody Fieger took.
I knew it.
They used to have 3-point shooting contests to determine who got which office.
When they first entered the building and it was all equal, they had a shoot-off, and Chris won.
Dang it, I want equal treatment for Kahil right now.
Chris won.
That's all I want.
Chris won because it was top of the key. And as a big man, he would
comfortable in that
float
spot.
up there. And
there you go.
Okay, that told us a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
With how I'm viewed.
New guy, you earn your way to the other office.
Okay, let's talk about the roster. You're well aware that BYU has some more positions to fill in, and that there are some spots, whether it be the transfer portal or new guys coming in or JUCO guys. Where is BYU basketball in relation to filling out the rest of their roster for the upcoming season and the finale tour of the West Coast Conference?
I think, 30,000-foot view on the roster, I think we're in a really healthy spot. I'm excited about this group. We have some really talented players. We have some experience. We have a lot of shot making. We have some toughness and competitiveness, which is great. So I think when it comes to that aspect, we're ready to go this year in the WCC. I'm fired up from that point. As far as filling out the roster, I think we've made some terrific headway. These guys have done an awesome job recruiting before I got here. I think you guys are going to be really excited about some of the dudes we bring in. Just more talented, high-level, high-character dudes that we're excited about. And I think Coach Pope is going to show, as he has before, just a willingness to adapt and play in different styles and really cater to his, not to his staff, but to his personnel. And I think will be really exciting to watch this year.
When we think about you getting an assistant coach job, you were an assistant at Louisville. You were a DOBO, as they say, director of basketball operations. You've been assistant elsewhere, right? I mentioned Portland State with Barrett Peary. But you were in the medical device industry for 10 years, like Pursuit of Happiness style. Will Smith, I'm just playing. How did you get into from that to coaching? Because coaching is a tough nut to crack and a year-to-year thing that can be quite stressful. But here you are at Louisville and now BYU, man.
Yeah, no, it was a bear. So when I was done playing at the University of Redlands in Southern California, I got out of basketball completely, and I wanted to make money, basically, and I sold medical devices for 10 years. My first job was actually selling copiers door-to-door, which was awful. So I was living at my mom's house and I was paying rent to my mom, and that was probably rock bottom in my professional career. And then from there, I was fortunate to go to sell pharmaceuticals, and then I got promoted to medical device sales, and I did that for a period of time. And it was cool from a financial point of view and things like that, but I never really was passionate about it or truly enjoyed it. So towards the end, I just wanted to do something that I was passionate about and got me fired up, especially like on a Sunday night, right? It's like, what am I looking forward to on Monday? And it wasn't going into surgery and consulting for a case. So I just decided to volunteer really on the side while I was selling medical devices. And I applied like on monster.com or something like that for an assistant JV coach. And as fate would have it, the guy that was supposed to be the head coach didn't pass his background check. And I became the head JV coach while I was selling medical devices. And I just loved it, man.
Wow.
I just was really, really fired up about it every single day. It meant the world to me. The kids meant the world to me. And I decided that's what I wanted to do and walked away from that industry.
What do you love about coaching? Like, why did you pay rent, to your mom, do that, but then give up that life to, I want to do this. I want to volunteer at a high school.
Yeah, I think the connection with young people and really try to get them from point A to point B, right? Whether it's high school, middle school, college, professionally, whatever, specifically to college, like how can we help these young people and these student athletes maximize their time on campus, right? Like I want them to walk away from their time feeling like they were loved, like they were developed, they were taught something, they were held to a standard. And I think if you can do that, you'll really change lives and impact people. So that's massive for me. That's huge. And then I want to win. I'm hyper competitive. So this is just another opportunity to beat people and win every day. So you blend those two things of helping people and beating people. It's a good situation for me.
Kahil, let's finish with this. What experience do you have watching or participating in a game in the Marriott Center in that special environment?
Zero.
So have you heard the legends then about the BYU Rock, the student section? Are you prepared for what's about to happen?
I'm prepared for the Rock. I'm fired up for the Rock. They look awesome in the clips and the highlights. It looks amazing. They blow away some of the student sections in the ACC. It looks like an unbelievable environment, but I've never been into the Marriott Center for a game.
The next level is to get Popeville.
Popeville, I like that.
That would be fun, right?
I dig that.
All
I think we can do
Pope's cronies in the tents. For some of the big games, they'll camp out, right?
Yeah.
We just haven't named it anything.
I like that.
There's something
That's good.
there. Yeah.
There is something there.
Can we get your signature?
Yeah, when we have a new guest, we have him sign the Sailor Kook flag behind you. We'll have you do that.
Just watch your step right there. Yeah.
Kahil Fennell, brand new BYU basketball assistant coach.
Formerly a BYU hater.
Yes.
Now he's a BYU guy.
Now he's
Let's
official
go.
because he's autographing the Sailor Kook flag. Like,
That's awesome.
the hatchet has been officially buried.
Shout out to Ty Detmer and the boys.
I'm all in.
We got our guy here. Thanks, Gil.
Kahil, great to have you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay, coming up.